Good evening to all of you. The session today is an important one, not just for the HPCL call getters, but also for the calls that have been received by the candidates from, let's say, organizations like EIL, Bharat Dynamics, that is BDL, and GAIL. All three PSUs are going to get covered here. In the message that you have received, those of you who have joined us on Zoom, in the message that you have received, those of you who have joined us on Zoom. Yes, those of us who have joined us on Zoom, you would have noticed that I have mentioned something that you must go through a full-blown video on interview preparation guidelines for ONGC. I'm repeating the same thing here. For your ready reference, I'll just play that video for a little while, maybe just 2 minutes, just to give you the familiarity. The reason why I mentioned that message is that there is no point in repeating everything that is already available. It's available on the Made Easy YouTube channel. The link is already there in the chat box, in the mail that you have received. We will post the same link on YouTube also. So don't worry, you will be able to save that link and you can access it, right? But I'll keep giving references. I'll keep making references to the content which is already there, and that will not be covered in today's discussion by me. Today's focus will primarily be on the organizations specifically, namely HPCL, BDL, EIL, and GAIL. All four organizations, I'll be touching upon the important aspects that you must be ready to face. But once again, at the cost of repeating myself, I would like to say that you should watch the ONGC interview preparation video without any distractions. It's a complete session in itself, and it covers every aspect. Of course, whatever aspects are not covered there, we'll be covering it today. Don't worry about that, right? There are some aspects which have been covered in that session, that is with regard to the subjects that you have to prepare, with regard to certain questions which are very specific to the organization. Obviously, the name ONGC will have to get substituted with the name of the organization where you are going. But those 2 or 3 questions I'll be taking up organization by organization in today's session also. You need to pay attention. You need to pay attention. When this session is going on, you will not be able to do multiplexing, if I can use that term. I do not use difficult words at all. So even if you're not very comfortable in speaking English, I'm 100% sure that you will not have any difficulty in following anything that I'm saying. Every word of what I'm saying will be easily understood and taken care by you. In case you are facing any difficulty, please feel free to write in the chat box. Please feel free to write in the chat box, right? Okay. So that's what I wanted to convey before we start off. I'll be making use of a slideshow, a few slides only, and that is more with the objective of giving you a reference point and not really with the objective of so much of content. Yes, we'll use it when it comes to the related slide for the subjects to be prepared and some organization specific inputs that we have to be giving to you, right? One more thing, those of you who have already received who have joined us on Zoom, that means your details are already available with us. But those of you who are joining us on YouTube, I would suggest that they must send their call details by mail to interviews@madeeasy.in. I'm going to be putting it on a slide in front of you so that those of you who are watching us on YouTube are able to make a note of it and send it. The reason why I'm making this statement is that there is a lot of support material which we keep mailing from time to time, which is related to the specific organization from where you have received a call. Which means to say that every time you receive a call from any PSU, you have to submit those call details by mail to interviews@madeasy.in. And only then we will know that you have received a call from such and such PSU, and we send the mail accordingly, right? I'm just going to share that slide so that we can get it going. Right? I'll write down in the very first slide. I'll just make a modification in this so that it's available. I hope it's clearly available. It's clearly visible to all of you, and there is no ambiguity about this particular message at all, right? It's important that you send the call details so that we can send it to you. Not only that, the invitation for joining the session on group discussion or group task preparation guidelines will also be sent by mail to those of you who have submitted your call details to us at interviews. Sorry, I'll make a correction. There is a spelling goof up. Yes. Those of you who send the mail, send your call details by mail to interviews@madeasy.in. So in order to receive the invitation for joining us for the GD preparation guideline session, which will be held tomorrow from 4 o'clock, it's a 2-hour long session. It will be sent only to those who have submitted their call details by mail to interviews@madeasy.in. That with notwithstanding, right. I think visibility is not an issue at all. And I'm already monitoring using my other device whether I'm audible or not. That is anyway being checked by me. So that's not an issue at all. So coming to the beginning, what is the objective of this session? What are you going to cover by way of spending this 2.5 hours today with us, right? Obviously, we are going to cover a little bit about the organization, EIL, BDL, X, Y, Z, all the organizations that I named today in the beginning, which means EIL, HPCL, BDL, and GAIL. The highlights. Obviously, there is a small company-related PDF, which is going to get mailed to you today or maybe tomorrow. Subject knowledge, meaning which are the preferred subjects for you, which have to be prepared well. If you are a fresher, then it is mandatory for you to prepare about your project and internship, right? Know about your achievements during school, college, primarily about college, not really so much important in terms of school, unless you have been a national level achiever. Your strengths and weaknesses, but remember, don't start by talking about your SWOT analysis. Sir, I have conducted my SWOT analysis, and according to that, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, and these are the opportunity I see for myself if I get selected by your organization, and these are the threats that I face for myself. No, ऐसा कभी मत करना. It will be a big blunder, right? Very brief particulars about your family. They don't expect you to go into the details. Knowledge about your hobbies and extracurricular activities. You must read the newspaper regularly till the date of your interview. I am not asking you to spend 2 hours every day on the newspaper. look out for the news related to the oil sector, specifically oil sector I mentioned. In fact, oil and gas is what I should have written. That is because of EIL, that's because of GAIL, that is because of HPCL. All three organizations relate to oil and gas sector, right? BDL is a leading player in the making of defense equipment. BDL has been in news in the backdrop of the recent Operation Sindoor that we had, where the products made by BDL were deployed into active service by our armed forces. And if any of you has been noticing the share price of BDL, you would notice that the share price of BDL has really jumped significantly. It is not just BDL share price that has jumped, but it is also the share price of HL, which has jumped quite significantly. But that's not something which we are talking about here. The coverage today, or by way of watching the ONGC interview guidance video, will cover the aspects related to the preferred dress that you should be going in for when you are going for any of these interviews, the entry-exit greeting, the possible flow of questions, and here primarily it will be the non-tech questions. I will try to touch upon some technical questions also, right? But that will be more in terms of a flow of statements rather than anything else. What subjects to be prepared, because these interviews are going to be a mix of technical and non-technical. HPCL may have more of non-technical content because they tend to emphasize on the personality part of you, right? So that is why there may be more of non-technical content in your interview with HPCL. But as far as EIL is concerned, as far as GAIL is concerned, as far as BDL is concerned, all these three organizations are going to have at least 70 to 80% content where they will want to check your subject knowledge and subject related to your field of study only. If you're an electrical engineer, they don't expect you to have knowledge of civil engineering. Please be assured of that. You don't have to, unnecessarily worry on that front. Okay. And then, some of the more difficult questions which are likely to be faced by you, which are more in the form of non-tech questions, right? I can display the set of questions which I'm going to be covering, in fact, which you should be able to get a good hang of when you watch the ONGC interview preparation video. And that's the reason why I'm repeatedly saying must go through that. Okay. One of the important things that you have to prepare your answer is tell us something about yourself. And once again, not spending time right now, but I want you to look at what is the content in ONGC video. See, I have not cut short on any content in the ONGC video. So that's the reason why you must go through the ONGC video, right? Ideally, you should have gone through it so that you could have asked me questions, but never mind. Tell us something about yourself does not have to be in the form of an essay. For example, if I were to introduce myself, if I were to convey information about myself, of course, I am a 1976 vintage electronics engineer from Delhi College of Engineering. So the way I would introduce myself would be, sir, after completing my schooling from my hometown, which is Delhi, I joined Delhi College of Engineering to pursue my engineering studies in electrical and electronics engineering. Sir, I completed my BTech in 1976 with an aggregate percentage of 82.8%. Sir, as a part of our course curriculum, I went for 2 internships. One was a 6-week summer internship after the end of 3rd year, where I went to Badapur Thermal Power Project. It was in project stage at that time. And then a 5-month-long, semester-long internship at IBM Manufacturing Operations in Mumbai. This was in the 8th semester. My final year BTech project, the title of my final year BTech project was Design, Fabrication and Testing of Digital Tachometer. This is the first part of the description of the project, which was successfully completed as a member of 5-member project team. The second part is a very important part. First word is completed, 5-member project team. Completed indicates I have problem solving skills. 5-member project team indicates that I am a team player. So there are two strengths which are coming out of this one single statement. Please note it, right? I didn't have any work experience when I went for my interview to either to Bharat Electronics or to DRDO for that matter. These were the two interviews that I faced after completing my BTech. I also faced the interview of Telco where obviously I didn't make it in the final round. I crossed the first round of interview and group discussion, but then I couldn't make it to the final round, right? Then if you have work experience, give details. Extracurricular activities and co-curricular activities, you can mention sports, NCC games, achievements, anything that you have, you can mention. There is a word about academic achievements. Now, the only sentence that I'll say will be, sir, I was a merit scholar throughout my school and college education. I do not have to tell them about my positions in the various semesters. Saying that I was a merit scholar throughout my school and college education is clearly reflecting upon my academic excellence, right? Watch the video and you will have more detailed discussion given in that and the rationale behind giving each of the answers. But the introduction part, the 2-line introduction, where I have neither mentioned the name of my school nor I mentioned my percentage in the 2 board exams that I had. We used to have a board exam in 8th class and we used to have a board exam in 11th class. I was a CBSE board student. And actually in 8th class, I had got second rank in Delhi State. And in 11th boards, I had the 16th position. But I don't have to mention it in the intro at all. Same way during my 5 years of graduation, I was in the top 3 in each of the semesters. Again, I don't have to highlight that. The word merit scholar takes care of everything that I have to. All right. I didn't have anything illustrative about sports. I didn't mention it. Project, yes, I have mentioned. Training, I have mentioned. But if you don't want to mention about training, just silently skip that. Don't say that I did not go for any summer training. अगर वो आपसे पूछते हैं तब बताओ सर इट वाज नॉट a mandatory part of a course curriculum. Instead of that, I had done an extra course during the summer break after the end of third year. Easily doable. Same way, some institutes do not have project. Instead of that, you can take additional courses. Again, you can mention that. You can mention, right? The other questions which are covered elaborately in that session, I'm just showing you a list of each of them. Just read the questions. And one question for which I will have organization specific discussion, let me just mark it for you. It will be this question. I'll be specifically talking about each of the organizations. Why do I want to join EIL? Why do I want to join BDL? Why do I want to join HPCL? Why do I want to join GAIL? We'll have a one-liner which is tailor-made for the specific organization. Same way, what do you expect will be a work profile? It may again vary from organization to organization. But as far as the details of detailed answer for the work profile is concerned, for this, you should read the advertisement against which you have applied, because that is where they spell out the expected work profile for fresh engineering graduates. Or if you are joining based on experience, then obviously it is mentioned clearly that, right? Each one of the other questions will have a generic answer, and that is something which has been covered fairly elaborately in that video. But as I mentioned, I'm going to show you that video also, just to give you an idea about what it is all about. Just, I'm pausing it for a moment. I'm going out of this presentation for a while, and I'll go for showing you that particular video. Just give me a minute so that I can highlight it. Okay. It is this particular video which is there on the Made Easy YouTube channel, which I am wanting you to go through. It's a 2 hour long video, and have the patience to go through it. It's important. It will really be very helpful for you, right? I'll just play maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes of it, nothing more than that, just to let you know what it is. Good evening, everybody. Today, I'm sure all of you who have joined for really need to work on the GATE score, 1,000 services. But this year onwards, once again, they have reverted back to their own exam. Your preparation for this, the term dress code, the preferred dress for entering the room, they will do the. Don't wait for somebody to point. Keeping it as you're noticing, I'm just and then skipping it at a fast pace, just to make you let you know that the coverage is fully the reason why I'm saying it's a suggestion. The questions that I have showed बिल्कुल आंसर कर सकते हैं part बिल्कुल आप उनको डिटेल में बता सकते हैं कोई दिक्कत नहीं there is a elaborate discussion about why a particular entry is included, why a particular why should we sentences is being spoken. No, this is the same far too long back. One by one, each of the questions has been discussed without any compromise. Okay, I'm just stopping it because that was the generic purpose was to just let you know that it contains all. It contains all, right? Now we'll take a look at some of the organization-specific inputs. For each of the organizations, you will receive in the mail, there is one document which you have to mandatorily watch. And the name of that document is investors presentation. It is there in the respective folders. If you have received a call for EIL as well as GAIL, you will receive two folders, one for EIL, one for GAIL, and the respective investor presentation will be in each of them, right? But then what I'm going to do is I'll cover one by one for each of these four organizations. That is EIL. I'll start with HPCL, then EIL, then GAIL, and BDL. There are some candidates. Are there, just confirm whether there are any candidates from BDL who are attending it. Otherwise, I can just skip that part completely. Please write down in the chat box if there is a student who's got a call from BDL. BDL there, fine, good. What about EIL? BDL I'll be covering, don't worry. I've already received a message that BDL calls are there. HPCL, needless to say, I'm covering Saurabh, no issues. Kalpit, okay, EIL also I'll cover. GAIL, I was expecting GAIL. Okay, great. So I'll cover all four. I'll cover all four. That means BDL, HPCL, EIL, GAIL. All four I'll be covering. It's immaterial in which sequence I'll cover. I don't think it should matter to you. Because anyway, I'll be spending about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes on each of them. The focal points will be a quick run through about the activities of the organization. And the second part will be the subjects which are preferred to be prepared. Ankit, you have mentioned HPCL or HRRL. HRRL is nothing but a subsidiary of, it's a joint venture of HPCL with the Rajasthan state government, where HPCL is holding 74% equity. Even if it is HRRL, the contents are going to be the same. The only difference is that you will have to visit the website of HRRL so that the specific current status of the project will be known to you. I'm not touching upon that in this particular section. All right. Saurabh Mishra, Bank of Baroda. All right. That means I assume that Saurabh Mishra has got a call as a civil engineer. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Saurabh, please write in the message whether it is you are a civil engineer or any other branch, because then I'll suitably do a little addition. As far as subjects are concerned, most of the subjects for civil engineering positions in all these organizations is going to be the same. It's going to be the same, right? Even for Bank of Baroda civil engineers, the set of subjects will remain the same. Let me just bring back the PPT so that I can show it to you. I'll just bring back the PPT so that you take a look at it. There are a number of messages. Maybe I can see. ठीक है. I'll just once again I'll bring back the slideshow so that I can refer to it when it's required. See, even if it is not in the presentation mode, I hope it is readable enough. Otherwise, I'll just put it into the presentation mode so that it covers the full screen for you and becomes more clearly readable. Right. Okay. See, this paragraph is coming from the HPCL website itself, right? So nothing extraordinary. I mean, here they have highlighted the fact that we are transforming the energy landscape with our solution, efficient conversions. HPCL is actually the number one as far as the lube oil production in India is concerned. They have refineries, they have a fairly elaborate network of pipelines, and so on. The name of CMD you must remember. As far as HPCL call getters are concerned, the date line that is mentioned is 10/24, but no, it is the most recent information that I picked up by updating it from the website today itself. The current chairman and managing director of HPCL is Vikas Kaushal. Then the director refineries is S. Bharatan, K.S. Shetty is the director HR, Amit Garg is marketing director, and Rajnish Narang is director finance. But you need to remember the name of the CMD, that is Vikas Kaushal. All right. Looking at the set of subjects, I'm assuming that the calls are for mechanical engineers. I mean, the vacancies are for mechanical engineers, then for electrical engineer, and instrumentation. These are the three branches which I remember from the notification. Let me just reconfirm. I have the notification in front of me. I'll just reconfirm it once again so that I don't miss out on anything. Yes, mechanical, electrical, instrumentation, and chemical. Of course, I'm not covering chemical, so that's okay. So I'll be focusing more in terms of the three branches, which is mechanical, electrical, and instrumentation. So the first sheet that we have in front of us is mechanical engineers. The subjects for mechanical engineering, as far as the HPCL is concerned, SOM obviously is very important, fluid mechanics as well as machinery. And when it comes to machinery, pumps and compressors need your special attention. Turbines again will be important. Now, in this case, it will not be turbines which are steam turbines. I'll want to make a correction here. It will be primarily gas turbines. Okay. Basic thermodynamics. Let me write basic thermodynamics. See, the reason why gas turbines I have mentioned specifically here is because each of the refineries of HPCL will have a captive power plant. And the reason for having a captive power plant is because being a continuous process industry, any kind of breakdown because of power failure is not acceptable. You know, it leads to major production losses and things of that kind, right? All right. Vikram Tiwari, your question is irrelevant. Let's not waste time on that. Unless it relates to the four PSUs, I'll not be answering it. Basic heat transfer, important because there would be in the refining process, there would be number of processes which will require your knowledge of heat transfer. Okay, so that's the reason why it is important. I can put material science lower down the list. Fuels and properties are I would say a favorite they are a favorite hunting ground for interviews in HPCL. And that's the reason why they are important, that you know about details about fuels. If you visit any of the HPCL petrol pumps, you would find that you have octane number, you have cetane number, you have high octane petrol, you have high cetane diesel, etc., etc. Know about the significance of octane number and cetane number. 93 octane is considered to be a high octane. The regular octane number of the petrol which is being sold in the various petrol pumps would be less than 93, right? So be aware of that aspect. Be aware of that aspect, right? But do visit a petrol pump so that you know what are typically, what can be typically seen in this with regard to the HPCL petrol pumps. Okay, and make a comparison with the layout of the petrol pumps of IOCL and BPCL. There could be questions related to that. There could be questions related to that, right? So subjects for mechanical engineers, clear enough for you. Civil, obviously, I'm skipping. Electrical engineers, machines, very important. And here, don't even think of skipping transformers. It's very, very important. Knowledge of transformers is very, very important. So don't skip out on the transformers part. Power electronics, control systems, power systems can be prepared. And in power system for HPCL, I think generation and distribution part will hold more importance than the transmission part. Transmission part is, I would say, of zero requirement. Protection equipment is what will be the major part of your questions related to power systems in case of any of the interviews, wherever electrical engineers are being shortlisted. And this is something, which holds good for GAIL also. And obviously, it holds good for even BDL for that matter, right? If you want to skip one of these subjects, then you can pick up on measurements, you can pick up on networks, any of them. But generally prepare at least 3 to 4 subjects. They are not looking at any kind of derivations. They will not ask you to solve any numericals. They will have a discussion related to the formulas, the implication of change in the parameters of the terms in the formulas. So that is the aspect which is going to get covered as a part of your interview process. But then, as I've said earlier, HPCL interview is more about a major chunk of questions is non-tech and a minor chunk is technical. Let's say in other PSUs, if 70% is technical and 30% is non-technical, in case of HPCL, it might turn out to be 60% non-technical and 40% technical. But then there have been feedbacks from some of the students where they say that, sir, I was asked no technical questions. Even those extremes are observed. So there's nothing fixed as such. But one word about HPCL process. In HPCL, they are conducting what is called a group task, about which we'll have a discussion tomorrow, as I mentioned, right? Now, group task is an elimination round, which means you have to necessarily qualify in the group task. That means you have to get a minimum number of minimum score in group task so that you are eligible to be interviewed. In no other PSU is the group discussion or group task round an elimination round. It is only in case of HPCL that the group task is elimination round. There is one more PSU, again, an oil marketing company only, and the name of that company is BPCL, where they have 2 rounds of interview and a case study round. And each of the rounds is elimination rounds. So, subtle difference. IOCL has 3 rounds. They have a group discussion, they have a case study or a group task, and they have interview. But anybody who is shortlisted goes through all the 3 rounds, and a combined evaluation of group discussion, group task, case study, and interview is done for arriving at the final merit list. But in case of HPCL and BPCL, the case study round or the group task round is elimination round, followed by the interview round, and then the combined score in group task plus interview, plus the weightage of your written exam score. That is what is used for finally drawing up the merit list based on which you receive the offers. The third branch for which the candidates are appearing for HPCL is instrumentation. As the name suggests, the set of subjects which are important for instrumentation would be process control instrumentation or industrial instrumentation. Knowledge about sensors and transducers is absolutely important. Knowledge of control valves will play a very important role in getting a good score. You can prepare control systems. You can have knowledge about PID diagrams. Knowledge of measurements, measuring instruments can be very, very preferred. The last line, in fact, I'll remove engineering mathematics because that is anyway for BARC only. The last line, lessons in industrial instrumentation, is a very important reference book for anything to do with instrumentation. It's written by Tony Kupphard, and the good part is it's available to be downloaded from a website named pdfdrive.com. You can just search for it and then you can download this PDF. It's easily available to everyone. I'll just write down the name of the website. pdfdrive.com. You can download it from there and you can just refer to the chapter which is required by you to refer to, right? Here, that's it. If we look at EIL, since we are talking about subjects, let me just run through the subject choice for EIL. The same set of subjects, the same set of subjects. The reason why same set of subjects is because EIL is a major player for oil and gas sectors. In fact, there is not a single refinery in India which does not have the name of Engineers India Limited as a consultant to the refinery. So that's why every set of subjects which is mentioned for HPCL is equally valid for EIL, right? For civil engineers, yes, this is something which is separate for EIL. Are there any civil engineering candidates today for EIL? Yes. Are there any candidates for civil engineering for EIL? Otherwise, I can skip it. No civil engineers for EIL? Let me just not waste time then. Electrical engineers, again, the same set of subjects which are there for HPCL. In fact, for GAIL also, it will be the same set of subjects. And I forgot to mention, as far as mechanical engineers are concerned, the subjects are going to be identical even for GAIL, as far as mechanical engineers are concerned. Yeah, GAIL, I'll cover civil. I'll cover civil, don't worry. I will cover. In fact, maybe I can roll back and talk about civil because this list of subjects is going to remain common only. But since I'm talking about electrical, let's just finish this. GAIL, the same set of subjects: electrical machines, power electronics, control systems, power systems. Again, generation and distribution. Transmission is not really the required part as far as GAIL is concerned, but top four will be very relevant for interview in GAIL also. Even though at the top it is written EIL, but it is for EIL, it is for GAIL, it is for BDL as well as for HPCL, right? But somebody mentioned that he's got a call for as a civil engineer from GAIL. So let me just go back to the civil engineering subjects and discuss about that, because that will address the needs for not just EIL or GAIL, but it will also address the need for any civil engineering student who is appearing for an interview for any PSU, maybe even Bank of Baroda for that matter. Saurabh Mishra, I think you need to pay attention here, right? SOM is important for checking your theoretical seriousness for civil engineering, right? But the most relevant subject, let me put it in red also, is going to be your knowledge of, in fact, these two subjects. Both these subjects are going to be very important for any of the PSUs that you are going, namely Bank of Baroda, Engineers India Limited, HPCL. Of course, we don't have any civil engineering calls, Bharat Dynamics Limited. The reason why they are important is because any of these organizations do not have their own construction gangs. They are making See, they're dividing the entire project work into packages, right? And because it is being divided into packages, that means each of those packages are awarded as subcontract. Your job as a civil engineer in any of these organizations is to be very effectively involved in the coordination, multi-agency coordination, right? Because that is what is going to be your part of work. As a civil engineer, your responsibility is to have timely completion of the project without any overruns. So CPM becomes extremely important. Contracts, important. Your job starts from even making the notice inviting tenders. Your job starts from there, right? What are the terms and conditions? And even, you could be having, there could be questions related to what is earnest money deposit, what is performance guarantee, what is, the clauses, penalty clauses, what are forfeiture clauses, are we doing a single part bidding? Are we doing a two-part bidding? It is dependent on the value of the contract generally. Generally, below 25 lakhs, it's single part bidding. But if the contract value exceeds 25 lakhs, then then the bidding is in two parts. The first part is the technical bid, and only when the organization or the bid is accepted technically, only then the price bid is opened, and then the comparison is made, and based on which the discussion takes place, and finally the contract gets awarded, right? Any of the remaining subjects can be prepared, but the first three subjects are extremely important for civil engineers going to any organization, which means today we are talking about EIL, GAIL, HPCL, BDL, and Bank of Baroda. For Bank of Baroda, there is one additional requirement for you. Saurabh, specifically addressing you, the additional requirement for Bank of Baroda civil engineers is that you are going to be actively involved in terms of even the maintenance of existing buildings. Tarun, I'll talk about electronics also. I'm not missing that. Don't worry. So the maintenance part is going to play a very important role as a civil engineer in Bank of Baroda. Plus, the interior decoration part is going to have a more active component in your work rather than for any other organization. For EIL, it's project execution work. For GAIL, again, it's project execution work. For BDL, it will be construction of the manufacturing operations building, maintenance of the various buildings. It could be office building, it could be residential building, it could be any such, it could be even the hangars for the assembly line, etc. Right? Kalpit, you would know it better. You go through the advertisement and you would know it better. Right? Okay. So civil subjects are covered now. Let's move on further. Electrical we have done, instrumentation we have covered. Okay, for GAIL, again, the top brass, the name of the top brass has to be known to you. Sandeep Kumar Gupta is the current CMD of GAIL. And then, of course, the names of the other directors are there, right? Then we have the business verticals of GAIL. Now, this is an important information, though it has been listed on this slide here. Don't worry, you need not even bother to take a screenshot of this. Obviously, you'll be able to refer to this video on the YouTube channel of MadeEasy later also. And more importantly, you will get it in the investor presentation. I'm just going to go through the investor presentation just to show it to you for each of the four organizations so that you know the document that you have to mandatorily read. In the interview, there will be questions related to the organization's working. There will be questions related to the organization's working. EIL CMD name is Vartika Shukla, right? GAIL CMD name is Sandeep Kumar Gupta, right? And HPCL CMD name was, we had just seen it, Vikas Kaushal. Okay. And now we have to look at the name of the CMD for BDL. The name of the CMD of BDL is Commodore A. Madhav Rao. You just have to remember the name of the CMD. सारे डायरेक्टर्स के नाम की जरूरत नहीं है आपको. Okay. Just a quick brief about BDL. It started off in 1970. It was operating from a rented premises to begin with, but then subsequently it shifted to its own premises in Kanchanbag in Hyderabad in the year 1981. The second unit was set up in Bhanur in Telangana, then a third unit at Vizag in Andhra Pradesh. Two more units are coming up. One, it's coming up at Amravati in Maharashtra, and the other one is coming up at Ibrahimpatnam in Telangana. And I think there is yet another unit which is likely to get set up in Uttar Pradesh, for which possibly the land will be given by the industrial department of Uttar Pradesh, right? And that's where the big time assembly unit of BrahMos is likely to be set up. Maybe the second unit of BrahMos might get set up there. But as of now, we have operating units in Hyderabad, then Bhanur in Telangana, and Vizag in Andhra Pradesh. And two units which are under construction or in advanced stages. One is at Amravati in Maharashtra, and the second one is in Ibrahimpatnam in Telangana. Incidentally, there is a Amravati in Andhra Pradesh also, right? Which was once upon a time being projected as the capital city. The range of services for BDL includes making of guided missiles and associated equipment, the underwater weapon system, airborne weapon system, ground support equipment, the product life cycle support, and then the refurbishment and the life extension of the old missiles that we had. The earlier versions of the missiles, their range, their life extension, equipping them with more modern circuitry, miniaturizing the circuitry, if speed is possible to be enhanced with the use of advanced control systems, all those parts are the mandate of BDL as such, right? The choice of subject for BDL, SOM obviously is important, but because a number of you as mechanical engineers can get posted to the production department, so production engineering is important, knowledge of material science will be extremely important for you, right? And then industrial engineering, which means quality, MRP, optimization techniques, will play an important role in your selection as a mechanical engineer in BDL. Those of you who have that inclination for design, then for them, subjects like machine design and engineering mechanics can be playing an important part, right? Okay. Just one momentum. Right. So machine design and engineering mechanics, particularly for those students who are keen on taking up a role in the design department, they are having a design department also in BDL. Okay. Civil, we need not. Electrical, we need not. EC, do we have any EC engineers who got a call from BDL? Otherwise, I can move on to GAIL EC. Anybody getting a call for GAIL EC? Sorry, BDL EC? Civil, but I already covered the subjects for civil. Civil are already common. Common as mentioned for EIL, for HPCL. HPCL, obviously, we don't have call for EIL as well as for GAIL. The same subjects will be holding good for BDL civil also, beta. Okay, no electronics. So what I'll do is let me use this slide for not BDL, but for GAIL, because there will be a few changes that I'll have to be making as far as EC is concerned. Analog and digital electronics, absolutely important. Control systems, definitely important. Then the third subject, which will be important as far as electronics is concerned, is optical fiber communication. The reason why OFC is important for GAIL is because of the fact that GAIL is using its pipeline network for laying the optical fiber. And if you would have noticed, they also have a subsidiary named GAILTEL, which is GAIL Telecom. They are utilizing their vast network of pipelines for the optical fiber, for laying optical fibers, which they are offering as offering the bandwidth available on the optical fiber network to the third party users. And that itself is earning them a lot of revenue. Okay. That's why the third subject, which is very important for electronics engineers, is optical fiber communication. And then, of course, communication in general. The reason is the monitoring of the health of the pipeline. They have a vast network of pipeline, both natural gas, then liquids, and others. The monitoring of the health of the pipeline network is done by way of a communication network which spreads across the country. And that's where the knowledge of communication engineers will come into picture. I can use a term called telemetry and telecontrol. Telemetry is for monitoring of the faults which may be occurring along the pipeline, and telecontrol will refer to the corrective action which can be taken from the various control points which are there across the length of the pipeline. Satellite communication is another area which can be important for you. I can knock off radar engineering, industrial instrumentation, I can knock off. Measurements is a subject that you can prepare in case you want to skip any of these. But the reason for suggesting any of these things is there. And I'm including, yes, analog electronics, digital electronics, control systems, OFC, then communication engineering and SATCOM in particular will be important for GAIL as far as electronics engineers are concerned, right? I think that about covers the subject requirement for any of the four PSUs which we are addressing the needs for today. There can be questions related to hobbies. There can be questions related to hobbies, right? Now, when there are questions related to hobbies, I would want you to go through a small clipping, a 20-minute clipping on hobbies, which can be very helpful for you. Obviously, it's an old clipping, so there will be some dated references in that, but then the contents per se will be equally relevant irrespective. So we'll just play that video related to hobbies. Do pay attention. The write-ups about hobbies are going to get mailed to you. Anyway, we'll be sending the mail to you after tomorrow's session on GD, and that's what you can look at, right? I'll just play the clipping on hobbies. Just give me a moment. Coverage related to your hobbies, and that okay. of coverage related to your hobbies. And that is what we want to talk about now. Right? In fact, in most of the forms, there is a column which you are asked to fill up. What are your hobbies or interests? Now, if it is written as hobbies, understand that hobby is something which is not related to the field of study that you are having. Hobby is something which you indulge in your free time, right? It is basically to give way to your, just to get into some kind of recreation, freshen up your mind, right? That is what you indulge in. Why is it your hobby? And hobby can be anything, by the way. Benefits of hobby, the most important benefit of hobby is it helps you to recharge yourself. It gives, a diversion to your mind away from studies, something which is not connected with your study. Maybe playing a game is a hobby. Watching TV can be a hobby. Anything can be a hobby. Anything which is diversion from your, hardcore study is your hobby, right? What are the resources required for pursuing the particular hobby? You need to be aware of. How do you manage time and money for pursuing the hobby? Again, a logical answer is expected. Difference between hobby and profession. Hobby is something which is not connected with your field of study, may not be connected with your field of study. But profession is something which you are pursuing for earning a livelihood, for earning money, and for generating resources, right? It should not be unrealistic. An example of an unrealistic hobby is, sir, car driving is my hobby. But when it comes to your family income, the family income is 1,20,000 rupees per year. How can you afford a car? That means, indirectly speaking, you are in the habit of unauthorized use of others' cars. I'm not using any other word for it, right? So have a realistic hobby, okay? Something which complements your personality. For example, you're a person who weighs 120 kg and you say that my hobby is gymnastics. Not possible, not possible. Your height is 5 feet 4 inches and you say that my hobby is playing basketball. It can be. I'm not saying it cannot be. It can be. But generally, basketball is something which is always associated with people who are tall. It can be played, a shorter person can also be playing basketball. I'm not saying that it is not possible, but then he has to be exceptionally talented, right? Just an example. What are the possible hobbies? We'll take a look at the possible hobbies and then we'll also take a look at the possible questions related to hobbies. This is just the first sheet. There are 2 sheets which I have made. Singing, dancing, painting, teaching, cooking, swimming, diary writing, poetry. Poetry can be poetry writing, reading, can be Hindi poetry, can be English poetry, can be Urdu poetry, can be your local language poetry, anything. Walking can be a hobby, palmistry can be a hobby, running can be a hobby, yoga practice can be a hobby, gardening or farming can be a hobby, organic farming can be a hobby, atlas reading can be a hobby, internet surfing को word use मत करो. Instead of using the term internet surfing, you can say exploring websites to learn about and talk about your areas of interest. My hobby is I want to know about cars. How do I know about cars? Internet. My hobby is to know about the latest developments in defense equipment. Internet. And then, there are sites which are devoted to the defense equipment advancements, different types of missiles. Again, all the information is in public domain. What are the missiles which Indian defense forces have or are likely to get based on the DRDO work? Similarly, what are the other missiles? What is the difference between a cruise missile? What is the difference between a surface to air and a surface to surface missile? What are the different ranges? What is BrahMos? What is intercontinental ballistic missile? What is a ballistic missile? Again, can be a hobby to study about missiles. It can be a hobby. It need not be your subject, right? Hobby can be anything. We'll also take a look at some of the possible questions related to these hobbies in a while. Let me show you this next sheet also. Visiting places can be a hobby. Watching TV can be a hobby. Listening to songs can be a hobby. Photography can be a hobby. Motivating youngsters can be a hobby. Palmistry, yes. Handwriting analysis, yes. Playing and or watching cricket or any other game for that matter can be a hobby. And here it is not just cricket that we are talking about. It can be hockey, football, kho-kho, kabaddi, volleyball, basketball, anything, any outdoor sports. Even athletics can be a hobby. Reading newspaper can be a hobby. Watching movies can be a hobby, right? Reading books can be a hobby. And books you may be reading fiction, you may be reading non-fiction, you may be even reading religious or spiritual books. Any of these can be a hobby. Any of these can be a hobby. Cooking, I think I had covered in the previous sheet. Right. Yes, cooking I had covered. See, when you talk about singing, what can be the possible question? Who is your favorite singer? What is your favorite song? Identify. Talk about it. Dancing. What form of dancing? Classical dance or hip hop or, Bollywood dance. Great, no issues. How have you learned? YouTube. Perfectly fine. Sir, I went through a formal learning process. I had joined a Kathak training institute. Perfect. If you belong to a particular state which has unique dance form, maybe you belong to Kerala. What are the dance forms of Kerala state? एक तो मेरे को पता है. One of the popular dance forms of Kerala is which one? Is it Kathakali? Yes, it is Kathakali, right? Andhra, Kuchipudi. Karnataka, Yakshagana. Then Odisha, obviously Odissi is the one. But there is another dance form called Mohiniyattam. Then there are folk dances of different states. You have Bhangra and Gidda in Punjab. You have Ghumar and Ghodi dance in Rajasthan. You have Garba in Gujarat. Likewise, depending on where you belong to, have knowledge about. Painting can be a hobby. What kind of painting? What colors do you use? Are you using poster colors? Are you using oil colors? Are you using fabric colors? Do you do paintings on paper, on canvas, or cloth, or what kind? What is the type of paintings that you prefer to draw? Teaching can be a hobby. Teaching whom? Teaching what? Teaching where? And the moment you talk about teaching as your hobby, there could be questions going in the direction of new education policy. So read a synopsis of the new education policy. There could be questions going in that direction. Cooking can be a hobby. Swimming can be a hobby. Diary writing can be a hobby. Poetry, as I've already said, reading, writing, Hindi, English, Urdu, language, anything. Walking can be a hobby. Running can be a hobby. Jogging can be a hobby. Okay. Yoga practice. Like in yoga practice, there could be typical questions like International Yoga Day. When was it celebrated for the first time? Why 21st of June only? Right? Who is the most important, most famous yoga guru who introduced yoga to the world? It is not Ramdev. It is B.K.S. Iyengar, who was awarded Padma Vibhushan a few months before he passed away. He passed away about 4 years back at the age of 95 plus. Right? He is really the person who introduced yoga to the world. Believe me, his contribution to yoga across the world was amazing. Atlas reading can be a hobby. And when you say atlas reading, the first question that I would ask would be, what is the longitude and latitude of your hometown? And then possibly, where is the international dateline for India passing through? What is the significance of 82.5 degrees east? Mirzapur, Naini, they are the places which are having this longitude of 82.5 degree east. What does 82.5 degree east signify? 82.5 degree east signifies 330 minutes ahead of GMT, right? GMT is considered to be the de facto world standard. 00 at 00 hours midnight at GMT. The Indian standard time is 5:30 a.m. 330 minutes ahead of GMT, right? 82.5 degree multiplied by 4 minutes for every degree moving east is the relationship, right? What is common across the places which are on the same longitude or the same latitude? Identify, know about it. I'm sure you know about it, right? Particularly students of civil engineering who have geology, who have geography as a subject would have much better grip on this particular subject. Instead of internet surfing, I've already said, visiting websites to gain knowledge about recent trends. That's it. Visiting places, trekking can be a hobby. Going to the hills can be a hobby. What extra preparation do you have to do if you are going on a trek in the Himalayas compared to the preparation that is required to be done if you are going for a trek to Sahyadris in Maharashtra, right? Watching TV can be a hobby. Which programs, which web series, and don't ever talk about piracy. No piracy. Listening to songs can be on Hangama, can be on Ghana.com, can be on Amazon Music, can be on YouTube Music, anything. But don't ever talk about piracy. That is something which is not going to be encouraged. Photography can be a hobby. What type of camera do you use? Sir, I use my cell phone camera. Great. What is the resolution? What do you mean by pixel? What does 12 megapixel camera mean? How is a 100 megapixel camera better than a 12 megapixel camera? What is the reason why iPhones, even though they are even though the camera megapixels are less compared with the Samsung cameras megapixel, still the quality of pictures is better? Reason, try identifying. Okay. Motivating youngsters. Let's move on to the more detailed questions on some other areas. Then another thing is that you may be asked to perform during the interview, singing, maybe sing 2 lines of your favorite song. Be ready, be ready. Choose a formal syntax. Don't come out with a song which is, not really fitting the decorum, right? Playing tabla or guitar. Guitar, obviously, they will not ask you to play, but tabla, they can ask you to playing on the table itself. Don't be shy of it. Somebody may say, okay, read my palm. Give objective observations only, right? Yoga can be in the form of the breathing exercises they may ask you to perform, right? Poetry, they may ask you to recite 2 or 4 lines of your favorite couplet or something which you wrote recently, etc. Dancing, usually they will not ask you to perform. Mimicry, yes, they can ask you to. Motivating people, one of the panel members may say, okay, motivate me. Sir, I motivate youngsters. So I'll treat you as a student of class 12 and then go on the motivation spree for a class 12 student, treating the panel member to be a student of class 12, right? Teaching can be asked. Demonstrate your teaching skills. Magic tricks, again, somebody may ask you to perform. Sketching, make a pencil sketch of mine. Pencil sketching ke case mein, sketching is normally done using pencils. And what are the different grades of pencils? It's 9H to 9B. 9H is the hardest, 9B is the softest. For shading, you also at times make use of a pencil called charcoal pencil. It's a very soft pencil, right? Is there a grade of pencil between HB and H? Actually, there is a grade of pencil, which is called F. It is softer than H, but harder than HB. Popular makes of the pencils. Kohinoor is one very popular make, and then Faber-Castell is another popular make. Pelikan is another make. Apsara is again making pencils of different grades, etc. D.K Iyengar was the yoga guru that I was referring to. Any sports activity that you engage in, you should know about these aspects, the important rules,
players, ground, records, ongoing matches currently where India is playing, famous players, famous awards, any scientific laws, particularly for, let's say, cricket, you do have, Magnus effect and possibly the projectile motion coming into picture. Your role vis-a-vis that sports. Why is football not so popular as cricket in India? What is being done to promote hockey once again in India? Odisha State Chief Minister has taken upon himself give a big thrust to hockey. This is something which is very recent. The National Hockey Championship was also conducted in Odisha this year, right? Why this particular game? Why not any other game? Availability of resources, badminton, volleyball, football, know about the records, right? Reading newspaper, which is the largest selling newspaper? Which newspaper do you read? What is special about this newspaper that you have chosen to read this newspaper, right? Who are the regular contributors to the editorial sheet of the newspaper, right? Hindu, Indian Express, Times of India, any newspaper is good enough. Even if you say Dainik Bhaskar, it's more than acceptable. No issues, right? The name of the group which is publishing that newspaper. For example, Times of India is published by Bennett Coleman and Company. Indian Express, there are multiple editions, right? What is the tagline of a particular newspaper? Journalism of courage is the tagline of a newspaper like Indian Express, right? Truth must prevail is the tagline for Times of India. Go through the newspaper minutely, right? Kasturi and Sons is the publisher of the Hindu, which is based in Chennai, right? What are the other publications by the same group? Like publishers of Hindu, they also publish a daily, which is Business Line. Publishers of Times of India are also publishing a finance daily called Economic Times. Indian Express publishes a Hindi newspaper, Jansatta, as well as a financial daily called Financial Express. Anand Bazar Patrika used in ABP, the erstwhile owner of Business Standard. Right? The idea is have knowledge related to what you do. Okay. Which page is the first page that you read the moment you get your newspaper? Sir, I go to the sports page. Wonderful. Expected to have some knowledge related to sports. Okay. Cooking. What type of cooking do you do? Indian, continental, your specific to your state? Important ingredients. Know about the equivalent names of the various spices that are being used. Who is Sanjeev Kapoor? Names of a few important chefs. What do you know about Neeta Mehta? Neeta Mehta is one of the celebrity authors of cookery books. Difference between snacks and breakfast, calorific values, what is special in non-stick pan, the Teflon coating, what is its chemical formula, carbon tetrafluoro. What is the chemical formula? Yeah, I think it is CTPFE. PTFE, polytetrafluoroethylene, right? Why Teflon? It's inert to other materials, right? Got a very high melting point and is non-inflammable. That's the reason for the Teflon coating, right? Sketching and cartooning में क्या difference है? Who was M.F. Hussain? What is one of his famous paintings, right? What was the profession of Balasaheb Thackeray before he became a politician, right? Who is the cartoonist who gave the character the common man? R.K. Lakshman, right? Which color has the maximum and the minimum wavelength? Red and pure, violet on one end of the spectrum and red on the other extreme end of the spectrum, right? Sketch anything that you find impressive. Pick up an object which comes to your mind and draw. What is 3D view? Okay. Difference between plan and elevation. As an engineer, you are expected to know about it. Diary writing. Do you do a diary writing or a journaling? What is the difference between diary and journal? Reflective writing. These are the terms, which students keep using in their hobbies, right? Who's famous for diary writing? Shakespeare is the first name that comes to your mind. What is autobiography? Tell any 2 quotes of Mahatma Gandhi, which he used to write in his diary, right? What do you write in diary? When did you make the last entry in your diary? Do you do it every day or do you do it once in a week? Right? What have you written yesterday if you're doing it every day? Unless it's something which you don't want to share, can. Then there was a famous book called Diary of a Young Girl, written by Anne Frank. Anne Frank was a 16-year-old girl who finally died in the concentration camps when she was caught. Diary of a Young Girl is the title of that book, which was published after her death, right? If you have read this book, great. If you've not read it and you want to talk about it, read the synopsis. It will be about 15 to 20 pages. Read about it. Remember the important writings in this. Okay. NCC, origin, reason, headquarter, tagline, right? What are the benefits? What was the objective with which NCC was created, right? There is a scholarship which is given to NCC cadets. Not many, a few. And related to games, the participation, the names of the tournament, the certificates, your contribution to that, your contribution as a member of your school or college team, etc. Right? Next.
Right. This was what I wanted to just do by way of some inputs for you with regard to questions on hobbies and interests. Right. Before I close, I'll just very quickly show you the investor presentation for the 3 or 4 organizations that we are having in question today, and then please your questions. I'll be too happy to answer. Himanshu, I'll be asking you to unmute. Don't worry. I'll not close the session till your last questions are answered. Be assured. Right. See, this for each of these PSUs, they have come out with a document named Investors and Analysts Presentation. For GAIL, it is for the financial year 24-25 itself. The PPT has been converted into a PDF for you to go through. See, whenever you go for the interview of any of the PSUs, they'll make you go through the corporate presentation or somebody will make a presentation. Now, this is something which you can do an advanced preparation. And knowledge about the organization, when you reply to their questions intelligently, definitely makes you rise tall in their eyes. बहुत ज्यादा इनपुट इसमें से एब्जॉर्ब करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है. Just absorb some macro parameter. Anyway, it's company overview only, right? This is the journey of GAIL. Starting with 1984 till today, what are the major milestones that they have achieved, right? Then the business verticals that they have. They have the natural gas transmission and marketing. They have the petrochemicals division. They have the LPG and LHC. Then they have the exploration and production of crude oil and gas. Actually, gas they are focusing on. Then their contribution in the renewables sector. They have a total of 118 megawatts of wind power and 27 megawatts of solar power. Then they have a green hydrogen plant and the CBG plant, right? They have city gas distribution. They are a major player as far as the PNG distribution in the city is concerned, right? They work in collaboration. They have a joint venture with the various entities, like for example, in Delhi, we have IGL, Indraprastha Gas Limited, which is a joint venture of the state government, GAIL, and maybe one more arm. Likewise, in Bombay, we have Mahanagar Gas Limited. Again, GAIL is one of the partners there. Then the state government is one of the partners there. Likewise, in various other cities, they are having this city distribution, city gas distribution. It's a business vertical in itself, right? The petrol pumps, where the compressed natural gas is sold. But in households, it is the natural gas which is being distributed by way of a pipe. That is why we refer to it as piped natural gas. Okay. The location of the various GAIL assets has been displayed in this chart. Then the group structure, forget this. The shareholding pattern, 51.25% is by government, 51.52% is the ownership of the government of India. A little bit about the share price movement, right? The current share price is approximately, I would say, 180, 185 rupees. That's the current share price today or yesterday, right? This chart would no, but this chart is dated, so we can take a look at the current chart also. You can just refer to the GAIL website and you'll know the price, right? Performance and analysis. Again, these are the terms which they use for conveying to their prospective investors and their bankers, etc. Right? They achieved the highest ever earnings before interest, depreciation, taxes, profit before tax, as well as profit after tax. That means they have been working financially, they have been working very, very efficiently, right? No negative comments from the CAG. Their accounts are subject to audit by the CAG because being a PSU, right? The major highlights, the long-term LNG arrangements with Qatar for volume that has been specified, interim dividend 65%, and final dividend of 10%. That means a total of 75% was paid as by way of dividend by GAIL. Exceptional income on account of some arbitration settlement. Somebody had to pay, right? Expanded the footprint, incorporation of GAIL Global IFSC in the gift city, which is in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, right? The marketing miss. Point is, just go through it. Remember the figures like the gross turnover, which is 1,36,960 crores. All the figures are in crores. Then the profit after tax is another figure which you can remember. It is 11,312 crores. In fact, GAIL was one of the youngest companies to have been given the Maharatna status, right? And the next one next one in line was Power Grid Corporation. But since we are talking about GAIL, obviously GAIL is important for us to be considered, right? These are the key financial ratios. Don't remember these. कोई जरूरत नहीं है इतना remember करने की. सिर्फ turnover और profit after tax. सिर्फ ये दो figures आप याद रखिए, more than sufficient for you. Likewise, we have the investor presentation for HPCL. Again, similar inputs. We have HPCL at a glance, right? Operating in India for 100 plus years. The journey of HPCL, the holding, 54.9% of HPCL shares are held by ONGC. And ONGC in turn is held by the government of India. So indirectly, it's a government of India company, right? The 13.44% is the refining capacity in India. The HPCL has its own refineries, two of its own refineries. Then the refining capacity gets added by way of the refining capacity of Mittal HPCL, which is a joint venture. And then even Mangalore refinery, they are owning, they have a majority stake. So the refining capacity of Mangalore refinery also gets added to this. And then there is yet another addition which will take place maybe in a year's time. That is by way of the HRRL, the HPCL Rajasthan Refineries Limited, which is a joint venture of HPCL and Rajasthan state government. They are setting up a refinery in Badmer. The journey of HPCL, again, just the major milestones, if you can recall, will be very good for you. The business verticals, you have market sales, refining, pipelines. They have a total pipeline network of 5,134 kilometers, product and crude, both put together, right? They have 20 joint ventures and subsidiaries. 76 products and technologies have been forwarded by their research and development departments. They are active in renewables field also, with a total installed capacity of 224 megawatts in wind and solar put together. Wind accounting for about 101 megawatts and solar accounting for 123 megawatts, right? They are also engaged in city gas distribution, again as a joint venture, right? This sheet can be remembered macro parameters, again, 23,747 retail outlets and 6,378 LPG distributorship. Even if you remember, approximately 24,000 and approximately 6,300 or 6,400, more than sufficient for you. The number which is important is 97 million LPG customers, 97 million LPG consumers. That's important, right? That's about the important parts for this one. Then we have BDL. Again, similar inputs for BDL as an organization. Just a bird's eye view of what you need to remember. Just a bird's eye view. Very stable order book. Total order book on 1st of April 23 was 20,000 crores. And on 31st March 24 is 19,000 crores. But obviously, it is not the true picture because a lot of execution would have taken place in the process, right? And orders in the pipeline in the next 2-3 years, another 20,000. So bright future for it. The products which are being made and the export orders, the Akash surface-to-air missile, the lightweight torpedoes, the CMDs, the Nag missile, right? Then the Dhruvastra. Then we have the Conkers. The highlights of the financials, the revenue from operations for the last quarter of 23-24 was 850. It increased. It was 854 crores compared with 602 crores in comparison with the previous quarter, right? Then maybe you can just remember this number. The total revenue from operations, 2,369 crores is the revenue from operations, and profit after tax, it's a healthy 612 crores. So if you just compare 612 with 2,300, that clearly gives you almost 25% margin. Then figures about dividend, again, you don't have to remember it. The number that is required to be remembered for the financial year 23-24, the turnover of the company was 2,370 crores and the profit after tax was 612 crores. So these are the two numbers which are required to be remembered by. All right. And again, we have an identical document for EIL. Once again, the parameters which are important are the parameters related to the operating, the total turnover and the operating margin, right? The mix of contribution. Now here in this case, that is important. They have what is called turnkey projects, right? The lump sum turnkey, LSTK, is the term which they are using. LSTK contributes 51% of the turnover and the consultancy contributes 49% of the turnover. Whereas in terms of consultancy, domestic versus overseas, 23% of the consultancy turnover comes by way of international services. Okay. The projects in pipelines, which have been the orders that have been received, just a summary. Don't have to remember their names, please. It is just to give you an idea the kind of growth which the company has, and it is really rubbing shoulders with the likes of Bechtel, which is internationally considered to be the top. All right. I think that's about it, which I wanted to cover by way of today's session, in terms of my contribution. Now open to your questions, please. I'm open to your questions. Yes, please. Tarun, you wanted to ask a question. Or was it somebody else? Let me see. Himanshu. Himanshu, I'm unmuting you. You can ask your question, please. Please ask your question. You can unmute yourself and then you can ask your question. Unmute कर लो हिमांशु. हिमांशु, हाँ बेटा बोलिए. हिमांशु, आपकी आवाज नहीं सुनाई दे रही है बेटा. या तो अपना क्वेश्चन आप टाइप आउट कर दो चैट में, तो मैं उसका आंसर दे देता हूं, या अगर ऑलरेडी टाइप कर दिया, हाँ, देयर इज अ गैप ऑफ 1 ईयर इन माय प्रोफेशनल करियर, इट डज नॉट मैटर एट ऑल अंकित। 1 साल से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है बेटा। अगर आप कहो तो मैं आपको अनम्यूट कर दूं ताकि आप चैट डिस्कशन कर सको। Why do you want to join a particular organization? You see, you are an engineer. The company where you're going for interview is giving you an opportunity to work in your chosen domain. And that is what is your career objective. That's why you want to work in BDL. That's why you want to work in HPCL. That's why you want to work in EIL. EIL के लिए तो एक extra input भी दे सकते हो. And that extra input is, it is the #1 technical consulting company in the country. That is why I'm keen to work in EIL. That way. ओके अंकित, आपको अनम्यूट कर रहा हूं बेटा, आपने अगर कोई पूछना हो तो आप अनम्यूट करके अपना सवाल पूछ सकते हैं।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
बेटा आवाज नहीं सुनाई दे रही है मेरे को।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
यस बेटा, हाँ आ गई,
ओके,
बोलिए।
आई एम ऑडिबल।
यस बेटा, यू आर ऑडिबल।
Okay. Sir, actually, it is if it is asked that what you will be doing, you were doing during this 1 year gap in your professional career, then
सर आई वाज
what will be why?
प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर टेक्निकल एग्जाम्स।
Okay, okay,
Simple. Along with the job, I was not able to focus on my preparation. That is why I decided, let me leave the job and then go in.
okay, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
right? Okay. Tarun is writing, my experience is system driven, whether it will be considered or not. Tarun, if it is issued from your official website, definitely it will be considered. So if you want, you can share it with me by way of mail so that I can comment on it exactly. My email ID, I hope all of you are aware. Let me write it down. Himanshu, a management trainee is a term. You are referring to management trainee in BDL. They have used the term management trainee. You are going to join as a trainee and you are going to be in officer position. So that is why they have termed it as management trainee. But as a civil engineer, again, you will look after the civil related work. That means monitoring, managing the construction activity of new buildings or maintenance of the old buildings, etc. That is what your essential role is going to be. Anything to do with civil engineering work will be the mandate of a management trainee civil engineer. एक नॉमेनक्लेचर है बेटा मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग, बस और कुछ नहीं है बेटा। और किसी का क्वेश्चन हो, अगर हैंड रेज नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो आप चैट बॉक्स में लिख दीजिए, मैं अनम्यूट कर दूंगा। इट इज रिटर्न एक्सपीरियंस शुड बी इन एग्जीक्यूटिव पोजीशन। तरुण, आप अगर चाहो तो मेरे को बता सकते हो कि आपका एक्सपीरियंस कहाँ था। डू यू वांट मी टू अनम्यूट यू? इफ यू वांट टू बी अनम्यूटेड आई कैन डू दैट। मैं आपको अनम्यूट कर देता हूं, अगर आप अनम्यूट करना चाहते हैं और डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं तो बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं बेटा। हियर यू आर, आई हैव अनम्यूटेड, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes, Tarun.
Sir, currently my experience is as an electrical engineer.
Sorry,
As
just
a
one second.
electric.
मैं थोड़ा वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज कर दूं, हो सकता है नहीं, मेरे एंड पे तो वॉल्यूम हाई है, काफी है। हाँ बताइए।
Sir, currently I'm working as an electrical engineer
Where?
in SLB. It's a oil and gas company.
Okay. So that is executive position only, na? You're not in a subordinate role. You're working as an engineer, na?
But they are asking for a proof. Like
So
they should.
your designation itself is your proof, na? You joined that company after completing your engineering degree.
Yes.
That's it. So that will be accepted. Don't worry.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Not to worry at all. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Soft copy of the conversion formula is fully acceptable. There is no problem. Just take a printout with you. Printout of the soft copy. कोई issue नहीं है. बीडीएल में ग्रुप डिस्कशन नहीं है तो कल आपको सेशन अटेंड करने की जरूरत नहीं है हिमांशु। और टेक्निकल नॉलेज थोड़ा सा करते रहो, बोल बोल के पढ़ने की कोशिश करो ताकि आपको इंटरव्यू में बोलने का दिक्कत ना आए। और योर नॉर्मल सब्जेक्ट नॉलेज will be sufficient. If you don't know the answer to a question, don't go for any wild guesswork at all. This is a caution for everybody. This is a caution for everybody. प्रदीप यादव, 1 year वर्क एक्सपीरियंस। बेटा थोड़ा सा मेरे को क्लैरिटी नहीं है आपके क्वेश्चन में, इसलिए मैं आंसर नहीं कर पाया हूं। आप एक बार अपना मैसेज दोबारा लिख दीजिए प्रदीप यूट्यूब पे, तो फिर मैं देख लेता हूं उसको। ओके, राइट। एनीवन एल्स इन जूम? ओके अविनाश, आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग यू टू अनम्यूट। हाँ बेटा, अनम्यूट कर दिया बेटा। वेंकटेश, आफ्टर अविनाश आई विल अनम्यूट यू।
हेलो, गुड इवनिंग सर।
यस बेटा, गुड
हेलो।
इवनिंग।
हाँ, गुड इवनिंग सर। सर,
यस,
मेरा ये सवाल था सर, एक्चुअली मैं पहले पीएसयू में मैं काम कर चुका हूँ।
ठीक है।
तो मैंने वो पीएसयू लेकिन छोड़ दिया था 2023 में।
ओके,
और उसका एक्चुअल रीजन था कि मैं सिविल सर्विसेज का प्रिपरेशन करना चाहता था।
ठीक है। कौन सा
तो
पीएसयू
2000
था और कितना टाइम आपने वहां काम किया?
सर, ऑयल सेक्टर पीएसयू था। अच्छा, एक लीडिंग लीडिंग ऑयल सेक्टर पीएसयू था और मैं वहाँ पे 2.5 साल काम कर चुका था।
ठीक है।
तो उसके बाद मैंने सिविल सर्विसेज का पेपर दिया, लेकिन मेंस मेरा क्लियर नहीं हो पाया था। तो
ओके,
सितंबर में
ओके।
वो था। उसके बाद क्या है कि मेरा चूंकि ऑप्शनल मैकेनिकल था और उस समय
हाँ।
इंजीनियरिंग सर्विसेज में रेलवेज ऐड हो गया था, तो इसीलिए
हम्म,
मैं फिर ईएससी की तरफ आ गया, क्योंकि मुझे लगा था कि सिविल सर्विसेज का शायद उतना कॉम्पिटेंस नहीं है मेरे में।
हम्म।
तो
तो
लेकिन
आप
ईएससी का जब
एग्जैक्टली
पेपर।
ये चीज बोल देना, आप एग्जैक्टली यही चीज बोल देना। सर आई
ओके
वर्कड
सर।
इन ए लीडिंग, अब वहां पे तो आपको नेम ऑफ द कंपनी बताना पड़ेगा क्योंकि आपने फॉर्म में भरा हुआ,
हाँ सर।
और भरना भी चाहिए। 2.5 साल का एक्सपीरियंस छोटा नहीं होता। कहाँ पे आप जा रहे हैं अभी इंटरव्यू के लिए?
सर, बीडीएल में।
बीडीएल में। तो क्लियरली आप बोलो, वर यू गेटिंग द वर्क विच वाज कंप्लीटली रिलेटेड टू योर ब्रांच ऑफ स्टडी?
नो सर, नो।
तो दैट इज द रीजन फॉर यू टू लीव ना।
इट वाज अ सेल्स जॉब।
देन दैट इज द रीजन व्हाई यू वांटेड टू लीव दैट, यू जस्ट लेफ्ट।
बट द सैलरी सर, ये मतलब इस पीएसयू
Forget
बीडीएल।
salary, it is job satisfaction also, which is an important part. You were ready to sacrifice salary because you're not deriving any satisfaction out of working in that company.
यस सर।
Is it not?
यस सर। तो
So,
एक्चुअल सर, मैंने ये फॉर्म बीडीएल का इसलिए भरा था एज ए बैकअप ऑप्शन, क्योंकि मेरा
हम्म,
ईएससी प्रीलिम्स का पेपर है 8 जून को।
समझ
बट
गया
एज ए
मैं।
बैकअप ऑप्शन मैं पीएसयू को भी भर दिया हूँ, और फॉर्चुनेटली आई हैव गॉट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अटेंड द
इंटरव्यू
इंटरव्यू।
डेट क्या है बीडीएल का?
सर, मेरा 5 जून को है।
5 जून तो ठीक है, इसका मतलब इंटरव्यू के बाद ही तुम्हारा ईएस का पेपर है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, दे के आओ।
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
And stick to that, sir. No doubt it's a great organization to work with. But the entire period that I worked, I did not get any opportunity to improve my subject knowledge. अब तुमको सिविल सर्विसेज का भी बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है।
ओके सर।
You left that company, started preparing for technical exams. You got a good gate score. You appeared in the exams of various PSUs, and you got this shortlist. बस ईएस
सर, मैं
अपने आप मत
आईयूसीएल में
बोलो।
था वैसे।
ईएस अपने आप मत बोलो। अगर वो पूछते हैं तो आप उनको बोलो, यस सर, आई हैव अपीयर्ड फॉर, आई एम गोइंग टू बी अपीयरिंग, बिकॉज द ओनली रीजन व्हाई आई एम अपीयरिंग फॉर ईएसई इज बिकॉज अदर देन गेट, दैट इज द ओनली अदर एग्जाम विच इज कंडक्टेड एट रेगुलर इंटरवल्स। तो मेरे पास अपने स्टेट ऑफ रेडीनेस को जांच करने के लिए कोई और तरीका नहीं है। ओके, दैट्स ऑल।
ओके। ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
यस। Okay. Yes, Venkatesh, please unmute. Pradeep, I have seen your message on the WhatsApp. I'll answer. Venkatesh, please unmute, beta. Yes, beta. Please tell me.
Sir, sir, is it okay if I mention that I am preparing for IES and I am going to write the IES exam?
Don't prefer to talk about it. You say that if they ask you, are you appearing for engineering services exam? Yes, sir, I'm appearing. And you have already heard the reason why I'm appearing.
Yes, sir.
Got it? Because,
Okay,
if
sir.
you overtly give your preference for engineering services, they'll say very good. And then say, please concentrate on that. Indirectly telling you that we are not going to take you.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
You got it, no?
Okay, sir. I got it, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Ankit, I am unmuting you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Ankit. Bolo.
Sir, actually, there is a question regarding my hobbies that I have mentioned that my hobby is listening podcasts. Will it is good or not?
It is very good. Listen to podcasts on which subjects?
Sir,
So identify the precise areas about which you are interested in listening to the podcasts.
okay, sir.
Good enough.
Sir,
Good enough.
is another question
Huh.
that the job experience that the HRRL is requiring, and in the oil and gas sector, basically the executive experience in the oil and gas sector. But I have the executive experience in basically in defense manufacturing company, that is BEL.
It is not necessary that you are required to have experience only in oil sector. Have they said that?
No, sir. It is not mentioned that only in gas sector, but they have clearly mentioned that either in refinery, petrochemicals, or gas sectors. But the job responsibility,
What is your branch?
sir, mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering. Now, in BDL, your experience is
BEL, sir.
related to manufacturing operations, assembly line, or what?
Sir, in BEL, I am dealing with the production control and manufacturing line.
Okay. So the production planning and control aspect you can highlight in terms of your experience.
Because, sir, the job responsibility that is mentioned in the advertisement, the job responsibility that I have to deal with in the HRR that is mentioned in the advertisement is properly aligning with me with my job previous
So
job
exactly
experience.
that is what you highlight.
Okay.
Forget about the sector in which you are working.
Okay.
You highlight your job responsibilities, your key result areas, your job description, JD as they call it.
Okay.
Is it not?
Okay, sir.
And when they cross question you, you will be able to really do justice to what you are saying. It will not be just a fake statement. It will be a genuine answer coming based on your experience.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. Pradeep Yadav, I saw your message. You've written 17 days of work experience. How can I utilize it? See, strictly speaking, 17 days is too short a time to capitalize as an experience. So, in your introduction, don't even talk about it. That is what I would suggest. That's it. Because there is no advantage that you get out of 17 days of work experience. Seriously. Anything else you want to mention, write in chat. If you're written, it's fine. If you're written, it is fine. It's okay. You say that, sir, because it was asked in the form, that is why I have written. But आपने जब छोड़ दिया ना organization, you say that I realized my mistake immediately after joining that organization and that is why I decided to leave. खत्म. उसको drag करो ही मत. बिल्कुल कोई issue नहीं होगा. See, if you are honest enough in this regard, there will be no further questions. Okay? Sumit, unmute please.
सर मैंने पिछले साल जो है ना सर आई हैव लेफ्ट द जॉब एट L&T last year February. Since then I am preparing for ESC.
Very good.
Sir, how to present this in GAIL
बेटा
interview?
तुम्हारा गेल में कॉल किसके बेसिस पे आया है? कौन से एग्जाम के स्कोर?
सर मेनली वो सर एक्सपीरियंस भी था और कॉलेज का पढ़ना.
तो आपने पिछला जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन था लार्सन ट्यूब्रो, आपने इसलिए छोड़ा बिकॉज आपका रीजन फॉर लीविंग वाज यू वांटेड टू वर्क इन अ गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. और L&T इज अ हार्ड टास्क मास्टर. नो डाउट द एक्सपीरियंस वाज ग्रेट. आई वाज थॉरली एंजॉयिंग माय जॉब. बट मेरा गोल जो था वो गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम करने का, उसके लिए मेरे को तैयारी का समय नहीं मिल पा रहा था. So I decided to leave and start preparing for GATE so that I can brush up my subject knowledge. बस खत्म.
Okay, sir. Or sir, now in the GAIL interview, what I can explain, should we prepare more for the technical or for experience basis?
गेल में बेटा गेल में तो आपका बेटा एक्सपीरियंस के ऊपर काफी सवाल आएंगे, बहुत सवाल आएंगे आपके एक्सपीरियंस से रिलेटेड।
ओके
यस
ओके सर,
ठीक है,
हाँ ओके, थैंक यू।
ओके ओके राइट। Ankit, after leaving BEL, you joined NTPC. Now you are a mechanical engineer. What is the role in NTPC? There will be definite questions related to your work in NTPC also. And then they will say that now you want to leave NTPC also. Right? So again, what is the rationale? Why do you want to leave NTPC? So उसका भी तो एक डेफिनेट, उसका भी एक डिफेंस आपको तैयार करना पड़ेगा, है या नहीं? How do you propose to handle that? You tell me. You are already unmuted. बताइए। हाँ
Sir, as it is a contractual job, so that's why coming
Okay,
in
leaving
HRRL,
BEL was justified. It was a contract job. अब NTPC क्यों छोड़ रहे हो?
NTPC is also in contractual job.
हाँ तो फिर ठीक है, फिर तो जस्टिफाई हो गया ना तुम्हारा,
So sir,
फिर तो जस्टिफाइड है।
so sir, it doesn't shows
और
that.
NTPC में कहाँ पे पोस्टेड हो, कौन से प्लांट में?
Sir, NTPC Green, that is in Dayapar, Gujarat.
Where?
Dayapar, Gujarat.
Okay, and what
near
kind
to
of a
Bhuj.
capacity does it have? What is the installed capacity, or is it being augmented, or what?
Sir, installed capacity, it is having a 140 megawatt and estimated is 500 megawatt.
Okay,
Wind
so
energy.
presently it is 140 megawatts, but it
Yes,
is
sir.
under expansion and the expanded capacity will be 500
megawatt.
Right. तो ठीक है, तुम्हारा जो रोल है उसके हिसाब से आप अपना प्रिपेयर करके जाइए सब्जेक्ट।
Whether saying that it is a contractual job, so I want to leave it.
Exactly. I want to settle down. That is the reason why I'm looking for a regular appointment in a government organization.
Sir, it doesn't shows that I'm little bit inclined towards the job security.
So I'll be more than happy to work in this organization, no? Because it takes care of my career need.
Because I'm asking this question because will it shows my bad impact?
See, you are not without a job. You are working. But the reluctance to continue is because it's a contract job.
Okay.
That's why. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Pradeep, 17 days, whether it is relevant or irrelevant, it makes absolutely no difference. तुमने 17 दिन में कौन से पहाड़ खोद लिए, मेरे को ये बता दो आप। चाहे सबसे ज्यादा रेलेवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में थे, अगर बहुत ज्यादा रेलेवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहे थे तो आपने छोड़ा ही क्यों पैर? आपको तो ये जस्टिफाई करना पड़ेगा ना आपको। आपके पास क्लियर कट है, यू आर वर्किंग इन ए प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, यू डिसाइडेड टू लीव बिकॉज यू आर नॉट एबल टू फोकस ऑन योर वर्क, ऑन योर प्रिपरेशन, सिंपल। और उसकी तरफ ज्यादा अपना झुकाव दो मत, क्योंकि जितना ज्यादा बोलोगे वो बोलेंगे तुमने तो बहुत गलत डिसीजन ले लिया, बेटा तुमको वापस जाना चाहिए वहां पे, ऐसा बोलने वाले हैं वो तो। So whether it is 100% related to the job for which you are going for the interview or not, the point is you have left, and you left because of some reasons. What reasons, you know it better, but they have to be suitably worded. All right. Shivaya, you have got a 4 years gap. Yes, please say if you have been actually preparing only, then simply continue with the same storyline. Sir, after completing my BTech, I decided to prepare for government exams and I started preparing for GATE. I have taken longer to reach a stage where I get shortlisted for interview. In my first attempt for GATE, I did not even qualify. In second attempt, I qualified, but my score was not sufficient. अपनी gradual improvement दिखाओ GATE के performance में, और कोई तरीका नहीं है बेटा 4 साल के गैप को जस्टिफाई करने का। और फेक एक्सपीरियंस लेटर गलती से भी कभी भी मत सबमिट करना, बिकॉज एनी एक्सपीरियंस लेटर विच यू सबमिट, if it is not genuine, it can be detected in less than 60 seconds. I have myself done it in terms of my interaction with candidates in mock interviews, and it's easily doable. It's very easily doable. And the people sitting in front of you in the interview panels are seasoned enough to be able to identify that. So इसलिए fake experience letter कभी भी as a policy never submit. You getting it? Simply stick to, sir, I was preparing, I wanted to work in a government organization, therefore I started preparation. Self preparation. Coaching institute का नाम कभी नहीं लेना है, because they don't look at preparation based on coaching institutes very kindly. All right. Okay. I think That's about covering the questions from everybody. If any other question is there, either write in the chat or raise hand. Otherwise, we'll close the session. And as I've said, tomorrow 4 to 6 will be the session for GD preparation. Don't miss it. It will be important for HPCL call getters. It will be important for EIL call getters and also for GAIL call getters. BDL में तो GD होता ही नहीं है, तो BDL वालों को ज्वाइन करने की जरूरत नहीं. All right. Yes, Venkatesh, please ask. Unmute करो. Please unmute. Yes.
Sir, actually, this is my first serious attempt for the IES, sir. And I was preparing it for 1.5 years. And in between the flow, I wrote this BDL and I got selected for the interview 1 in 10. Only one post is there, sir. I cleared at the cutoff is 96 and I got 97.5 at the roughly at the border, sir.
Where are you presently based? Where are you presently based?
Sir, I couldn't get you, sir.
Where are you right now? Which city?
Sir, in the Hyderabad, sir.
Hyderabad. The interview is also in Hyderabad only, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So then go for the interview. That's all.
Sir,
don't unnecessarily deviate your preparation.
How much effort should I give, sir? I mean, like,
don't spend more than 1.5 hours on the interview preparation. That's it.
And is there any possibility that I can clear this, sir? I mean, like, at the border, no, sir.
Yes, you can. Why not? If you get 12 marks out of 15 in the interview, who stops you from making it to the final list? Tell me.
Okay, sir.
Go with an open mind and don't deviate from your preparation for ESE.
Okay, sir.
It is in Hyderabad only. You are also in Hyderabad. That means you don't have to waste any time in your travel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let it be just a rehearsal for you.
Yes, sir. But actually, this is my first attempt. No, sir. I had a little more stress. I mean, like in the facing the people.
Don't have any fear psychosis. Simple.
Okay.
You appear for the interview as if you are appearing for a viva. The only thing is, do spend 2 hours in going through the ONGC video.
Okay, sir.
That will take care of a lot of do's and don'ts for you. बहुत सारी गलतियां नहीं करोगे आप. ठीक है?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, I think we'll close the session at this point. And Shivaya, you can say that I did appear for interview for 1 or 2 PSUs, but unfortunately, I could not make it to the final list. That is what you can say as a part of your improvement in the learning process. Okay. Avinash, unmute karo.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, in hobbies part, can I mention this? Like generally, I'm interested in it. Like, I like learning a lot about climate change and how human capitalism, consumerism, all these things are driving
it. Yes, you can. Why not?
Like any active hobby.
Oh, definitely you can.
Okay. Will it not sound too intellectual?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Okay. Tarun, I'll go through your experience letter, and in case there are any comments, I'll definitely revert to you. Not to worry. Just don't worry. And anyway, we are meeting tomorrow. So if there is still something which is left unanswered, I'll reply to you. Okay. I think I'll call it a day. Please go through the video. If there are still any doubts, I have already shared my email ID with you people. Please write back and you will definitely get the reply. My best wishes to all of you. Practice reading out loudly from your books so that you don't have that fear of speaking in front of the interview panel. All right. My best wishes once again. Work hard, get selected. Bless you all. Thank you.